As a boy, Ron Homenuke dreamed of playing in the NHL, and that dream finally came true when he stepped out onto the ice as a Vancouver Canuck. But that one big league game in 1972 would be his last, as a serious back injury ended his NHL career. Then a few years later, Ron sustained much more serious injuries when he lost his footing on a much different kind of ice, sliding some 2,000 feet down the Kokanee glacier in BC. He's here to tell his story of severe challenges, inspiring victories, and a new calling in life. Ron, welcome. Great to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, let's back up a bit. So you have some fascinating chapters to your story, but let's go back to your earlier years as a teenager. You were living in BC,
in British Columbia, yes.
And what was life like for you as a teen, and what kind of things were you doing?
As a teenager, my one goal was to play in the NHL and playing junior hockey from 14 to junior B at 14, 15, then 16 to 21 as a junior A player in Calgary. My focus was hockey, 100%, nothing else, every day, every night.
All right, and that would eventually bring you into some serious hockey playing and playing with some teams. In fact, we have some early pictures of you on the ice with the Seattle Totems in that one, and the next one with the Albuquerque, the Six Guns. Okay, but it was in 1972 that you had an opportunity to play for the NHL. Tell us about that one big game.
Yes, my time in the exhibition season of '72 was I went to camp in shape, and Vic Stasiak, our coach at that time, a fellow Ukrainian, took a liking to my work ethic, and I would go into the corners hard and scrap and mix for the puck. So I was on a kid line with Bobby Lalonde and Richard Lemieux at that time. We played well together, and then time now for the real life, for the opening of the regular season. I was with them in their first road trip, but played only in the one game with the Philadelphia Flyers, and played with Orland Kurtenbach and Wayne Chikomaki. I remember getting into kind of a scrap with Bob Battleship Kelly. I didn't do very well. Came back, our coach, Vic Stasiak, wasn't happy with our play. We had an evening practice, and to my memory, I was cutting in on the net. It was one on the goalie, and caught the puck, headed for the net, broke for the net, caught a rut in the ice, and flipped into the boards. And I hurt my back pretty bad. It was x-rayed when I was sitting down to the farm team in Seattle, 3 crushed vertebrae.
Wow, that's pretty serious for a hockey player. And so then that basically ended your NHL career.
Well, at that time, yes, but I played, it healed. I played that season, then I got most popular player voted the most popular player. I had a fairly good season.
With one of the farm teams?
The Seattle Totems, that was the farm team.
The Totems,
and
yeah.
Next year, I was loaned out with 2 other players to a new team in Albuquerque, the Albuquerque Six Guns, and they were a farm team for the Kansas City Scouts, which became the Colorado Rockies. I had an okay year there, but that year I was I tore some ligaments in my leg. Playing wise wasn't that great, but that was the year I found the Lord. And
well, that's the best year of your life then,
yes,
isn't it?
Yes.
Well, tell us about how you found the Lord in the midst of that time.
Well, end of the year party, kind of some. We didn't know. I didn't know the Lord yet, but the girl said, one of my roommates' girlfriends, said to me, "Ron, I'm going to pray for you, and something wonderful is going to happen." The next night, I spent in jail. That wasn't a wonderful thing, though.
Right.
It was on my way home, where I stopped off in Seattle, and to see a girl that I met the year before. I didn't know she had trusted the Lord, and she shared the Lord with me that night, and I became born again that night.
Wow.
April in that would be 74, 74, I think. No,
Okay.
74.
Well then, Ron, we'll go ahead a little bit because shortly after that, then you were on a field trip, I guess, with some friends, and you're up in at the Kokanee glacier. And tell us the story of what happened that day.
For the day, I had played one more year in Seattle. Then I was getting out of hockey and climbing, belonging to a wildlife recreation class in Selkirk College. And our first road trip, we were climbing the mountain, and there's a glacier, Kokanee Glacier. Weren't supposed to be up there. 3 of us snuck out of the cabin early that morning and climbed. I do remember the verse that says, "Behold, let him who think he standeth take heed lest he fall." That was me. The Lord had arranged for me to fall about 2,000 feet down the glacier. I received a brainstem injury.
Okay, let's back up a little bit, because that I'm just trying to picture that in my mind. 2,000 feet, like you were on up above, obviously, and then you lost your footing somehow, and you started sliding.
Yes.
And did you slide the whole way, or?
Well, slope distance, I fractured my skull in 2 places, scraped the skin off my face and chest. So I would imagine that there were some falls, some bumps, and down.
You don't have a lot of memory of it, obviously, of what exactly happened. But your friends then found you down at the bottom.
Right.
And what kind of shape were you in when they found you? And how did they immediately help you?
I was still moving, and they were able to put their bodies underneath mine against the cold ice, and a couple of them ran down to where the ranger's cabin was, and radioed down to Nelson for a helicopter.
Wow. So to keep you warm, they actually had you lay on top of them, so you're not laying on the ice.
Yes.
And while they're waiting for the rescue. And then how did the rescue happen?
I'm not entirely sure, but I think that the chopper came up, and I think it hovered while they put me into the cabin or whatever, and then they flew me off.